we'd love to have done. We might have fumbled. You might fumble on any play. You know what else you might do? You might pick up 12 yards. You might pick up 15. You might score a touchdown. You might just mess around and score a touchdown. We might fumble. Like, what is that even? You're going for it on fourth down. That entire crowd is rallying behind you. I thought they could have gone for it on fourth down on that 4th and 3 in the early fourth quarter when they end up taking the delay of game and punting. You had a chance right there to step on their neck. So you could see the fear starting to set in.
Yeah.
And then when it mattered, like, here's your time. Here's your time. All right, yeah, we're going to get even closer. You got a timeout.
And just to hammer your point more here, Dan, a graphic from ESPN's Get Up this morning. Cairo Santos inside 40 yards, perfect in his career since 2020. They weren't probably going to get that far, but, just throwing that out there. Cairo Santos since 2020, 45 plus, still pretty good, 76%, 32 of 42. And in the NFL this season, percentage of fumbles lost on any given play is 0.46.
Yeah, I know. So you didn't get it closer. Because we might fumble. That's how you think as a head coach? What does that say to your team?
I think it says we've lost 3 straight, and we have a chance here to get a win and escape. And that's what he was thinking about. He's definitely coaching. If not coaching scared, Matt Eberflus was coaching ultra, not regular conservative, ultra conservatively at that point. And that is a direct contrast to how he had been coaching earlier in the game. But a lot of that, I think, was prodded by Caleb Williams in the offense saying, look at what we've done so far. Let us continue to cook. Stop short of the order. It's like when you go to your favorite restaurant and you're like, maybe I shouldn't get this and this and this. No. Get it all.
You know what? You could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Take the take-home box if you don't finish it.
Get what
Order
you want.
it all. Get what you want.
Get what you want.
You get out of life what you ask. The answer to the question cannot be yes unless you ask the question. Matt Eberflus, the way he coached the end of that game, it's like he was afraid to continue the conversation. He wanted to end the conversation.
How do you stand in front of your players and be like, we didn't get closer because I thought you might fumble?
And the other way you can look at it, if you're
Coach.
trying to look at this through Matt Eberflus's eyes, is he had ultimate confidence in his kicker, Cairo Santos. And there's nothing wrong with that. On its face, he had ultimate confidence that he could make the kick.
But then you listen to their locker room.
Then you listen to the Packers
Listen to what the Packers are like. Yeah, we know he kicks it low.
The self-scout was not strong on that play. And when you hear a coaching staff talk about, we knew we had to get one. That was the goal. We were going to get an extra point, a field goal, something. Something was getting blocked because of the way that their operation works. That's a lack of self-scout, right?
Manley called it. Talk to Lawrence and other people who were watching the game with Manley. He kept saying, watch the left side. Watch the left side. There was something soft that was happening up there based on what their alignment was.
Well, and that's the other thing you have to remember, too, is they're playing with even more backup linemen on their field goal unit than they normally have. Like, Karan Amagaji has been on the field goal unit to start earlier in the season. He's been out. They lost their starting guard early in the game, and I'm not sure if Ryan Bates was on field goal team or not, but you're down all these linemen, and that's part of why there's so much push up there.
All I know is...
So that's why you need to get more yards.
All I know is Matt Eberflus had a chance to get what would have been the biggest win in the Matt Eberflus era. You finally beat the Packers. You stopped the 10-game, now 11-game losing streak. And he came up short. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters is that they lost the game. From a Matt Eberflus narrative, you lost again. You're now 4-6. You've got 7 games left to try to do something. And the faith in that locker room in him as a head coach and a game manager can't be high. It just can't, based on the evidence that you've seen from the players. Now, the players, as I told you last week, because you're like, why would the players are going to believe in themselves? They're like, we have enough talent on this roster to get things done. Yeah, that's why they were even in position.
But remember what Mike Golick told us last week, where Mike Golick said what happens is players, they are going hard, but for themselves.
Yeah,
more so than they are for the guy next to him once it starts getting off the rails.
I don't think we're there yet. I think no. Okay. Do you see any glaring examples of a player playing for himself and not for his teammates?
Not this week.
Yeah, that's what
the week before I did.
And that's good though. That's good though, because now that Thomas Brown's in charge, the offense is reinvigorated. And now they believe, okay, we can beat these teams. They don't want to lose 5 in a row. That's why Minnesota very much in play. And as we learn more about injuries and everything else, I'll have more. But what did I tell you last was, like, as long as they got their starting tackles, the offense will be much better. Play caller or not, Thomas Brown takes over and they don't have their 2 starting tackles. You think they would have gone that long with just 1 sack given up?
No.
Because even if you want to design, hey, we're getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds or 2.4 seconds, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter if guys are just coming unblocked, unchecked, just try to take your quarterback's head off. And you have not the talent up front to stop it.
You got Brian Flores coming this week.
I understand.
There's going to be relentless pressure. There's going to be opportunity.
Yeah, because last time I checked, the blitz presents opportunities as well.
There's going to be opportunity. But the one thing I thought Caleb did a much better job of in this game was keeping his eyes up. Because against the Patriots, his eyes kept dropping. And that's just it's human nature when you're under siege.
And I don't know what the conversation was, whether it was in the game planning itself, on game day as they saw things develop. But Caleb went back to something that had worked for him so successfully pre-bye. And that's, hey, you know what? I see 6 yards in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and take that, slide, and say we live to fight another down, as opposed to scrambling just to find somebody open. It's okay to scramble and get a positive gain, especially because we know Caleb, he ain't going to put himself in harm's way. He's very good at that.
I loved how he used his legs. I like the designed runs. And again, a lot of this had to do with the formation design. He had better angles to take off because of where guys were starting. And by reducing the formations, it allowed his speed to matter more to the edge. He had that chance because defenders weren't starting out there. That's simple geometry. And it made things, I think, easier to block as well. And the play was in. The play was in him, in his helmet. And that I think that's because Brown's upstairs.
And he can see what he can see.
He's sitting in a glass booth. And he can see, and he can talk, and he can get the play in. And he's not there on the sideline amid everything that's going on, trying to see. It matters.
You know what else matters? 34 rushes.
Yeah.
Just the balance and the fact that Roschon Johnson wasn't just used in short yardage situations. They gave them a heavy dose of, hey, you know how DeAndre Swift feels when you're trying to tackle him? Well, Roschon Johnson feels different because he's coming head first and much more power game. So when you take DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, and mix in a little Caleb Williams threat to run, that creates a dynamic that I don't know that the Packers were necessarily ready for.
Until it matters, and then it's like, well, we'd love to have done something, but we might have fumbled. So we couldn't.
It's a poor sentiment.
We couldn't improve drastically improve our chances to win. You start looking at some of those numbers of what an extra 5 yards means, and it really is inarguable. And it reminds me of Trestman in Minnesota in 2013.
And he actually had the timeout this time.
He had the timeout.
He had the timeout. I didn't have a problem with this challenge. I was good with everything the way it played out until literally the last play. And this is not the Panthers or the Jaguars or even the Patriots. This is Green Bay. This is a Packers team that's owned you, but also an important game, a good team. You had a good team coming off their bye, by the way, and you had a chance to get a statement win instead of being 5-5. You're now 4-6, and that's a world of difference.